Okay, first things first. Officially, did you redshirt your first year?
Yes.
Okay, so you got a redshirt year off the books. Can you just talk about what one does during a redshirt year?
Well, most of my time was spent on the scout team.
Okay.
I went in at camp playing receiver, and then as we were going through, we had a little option period, and Coach Hawkins asked me if I wanted to do some because he knew I did that in high school. So I did that, and then actually right after that practice, they asked me, just because they could tell it was my natural position more than receiver. So after that practice, they asked me if I wanted to change and just go back to quarterback, and I said yeah. So then I spent the remainder of the year just running the scout team, basically playing against our first-string defense and stuff like that, and mimicking the next week's opponent.
How big was the smile on your face when he said, "Hey, Gorman, want to play quarterback"?
I was definitely glad because I knew under Coach Hawkins the system was going more towards an option style. You know, when I was going there, they weren't really sure which way it was going to go, but as they kind of developed and got their scheme going, the more option was becoming more and more prevalent in our offense. So for me, it looked great because I really didn't have an option quarterback there because in the past I never really looked for that. So I was really one of the front runners in that aspect of the game there. And then so that I finished up that year pretty good. I actually ended up winning the Scout Player of the Year there as a quarterback. And then obviously when Hawkins left, they brought the new guy in, and now they went completely opposite. They're pro style now. So no shotgun, under center all the time, no quarterback runs, just looking for someone kind of sit back there and pass the ball all the time, which really isn't my style.
You're a spread guy. You're a shotgun.
Definitely. So
gunslinger.
I ended up moving to strong safety, which is where I'm at now.
Okay. Cool with that?
Yeah. I mean, at first, I didn't really know. I was kind of, because I never really spent a ton of time on the defensive side of the ball. But through spring ball, you know, it was new at first, so it was kind of different, just a different aspect of the game. But getting myself confident and stuff like that, it really worked out in the end. It took me some time to get used to it, though.
When you were here, forever and ever, you played with the same coaches. Coming up, you know, Coach Smith, Coach Brew, Coach Hahn, Coach Williams, and all of a sudden your college coach is gone. What was that like for you and for the program? Was that sort of a shocker?
Definitely. You know, especially as you're getting recruited, as you're talking, you build a relationship with that one coach or that staff. So coming in, you know, you kind of know your spot because they talk to you a lot and just have that relationship. And then when he's gone and that new coach comes in, you just start all over. I mean, that new coach knows nothing about you, nothing about where you came from, nothing about how you play. Sure. Absolutely nothing.
And that's for everybody.
Exactly. And
first string, third string.
Exactly.
He doesn't
and
know what
you're
any
basically
of you guys are
starting
doing.
completely over. And when our new coach came in, he pretty much said you got a certain amount of time period, prove yourself. And he actually ended up cutting about 10 kids from the team.
Wow, okay.
That are not there anymore. And some of them were, 2 of them started last year.
Wow, and they're gone.
Yep.
Wow. Was that sort of a wake-up call? Like, wow.
It was. I mean, when the whole thing was going down, we didn't really know who was going to be cut, but nobody really expected it to be some of the main guys. And in his eyes, they didn't want to be there. So he told them to find a new place.
Cleared house. Hey, while we're talking about the team, you're switching conferences. That's pretty major. Your road trip's got a heck of a lot longer all of a sudden. But talk about the feel around campus and the feel around the program about changing conferences.
Pretty much everyone's excited. I know.
Okay.
I mean, back in the day in the Big 12, we were doing great, but in the past couple of years, you know, we haven't been producing like we used to back a couple years ago. So I think everyone's kind of ready for that fresh, new coaches, new conference, new road games, new everything, just kind of like a fresh start. And actually, a lot of the base of the school and a lot of the kids are from California and Hawaii and the West Coast. For them, they're all traveling more back home. So, I mean, for me, it kind of stinks because my family and everything, now everything's West Coast.
Really longer for them.
But for the majority of the team, everyone likes it and everyone's for it. I mean, I'm excited too. I'm not saying I'm not excited about it. It's just, it's new, so we'll kind of see what happens.
And Nebraska's going to go through the same thing this year, coming to the Big Ten. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you still a walk-on?
Yes.
And how does that work? You're paying your way. You're paying to be there.
I pay for my own schooling, but besides that, I mean, that's really the only difference. I get all the same other stuff and everything like that. Actually, with Coach Hawkins, I was working my way towards
I'm sure you were.
Because like I said, I won that Scout Player of the Year and everything. I was looking pretty good at it, but then when he left, I'm starting all over again.
Zero
so
for everybody.
Exactly. So now we'll see what happens after this year.
Do you find yourself working a little harder, putting in more time? I mean, here you are, you're home. It's vacation, quote unquote, and you're at the gym working out. I mean, is that just the way your life is right now? Kind of prove chip on your shoulder.
Yeah,
I can earn my spot.
The biggest thing is, especially how I said he's clearing house in certain ways and looking for people that don't want to be there. So if he doesn't think you're going to produce, you're not going to be there much longer.
Yeah.
So I'm basically doing everything I can just to keep my way there and work my way up the depth chart. I know after spring ball I was listed as 3rd for strong safety.
Okay.
And I'm actually starting as the holder, which I know isn't a big deal, but hey,
do that.
you work your way. You wait your time to be on the main stage, but in the meantime,
Sure.
you play a lot of minor roles. So
Sure, and I think you knew that going there.
Definitely,
You had to
yeah.
earn your spot, but you wanted to be there, play D1, play on that stage.
Correct.
You held here forever, didn't you? I mean, you held
3
for
years,
Meyer
yeah.
and
Yep.
the whole crew. You saw Graham go through this.
definitely, yeah.
And he's your bud, and you played with him and grew up with him. You saw that he did it. Was he an inspiration?
Oh,
And
definitely.
you look up
Because
to
I mean,
what he did at Penn
a
State?
lot of people everyone in a way, some people look up, say walk-ons. They work so hard, but other people it's also looked down upon a little bit, just because, obviously they're not seen as the quality of player.
You didn't get the scholarship to the
Right, but I mean, Graham obviously is proof that you work hard, and okay, not to say people make mistakes in recruiting, but in a way, recruiting is just how you get your name out there. And some of the high school teams, the awards, just different stuff. It's not always the best player. And so, I mean, there's been plenty of players that were walk-ons that have been better than scholarship players, and there's scholarship players that maybe didn't even deserve scholarship, but they got it anyway. It's just
Sure.
different way. I mean, granted, everybody who's on that team is a good player,
Oh, yeah.
regardless of their status. But it's really about once you're there, what you make of yourself, rather than what you are going in.
Okay, so when the season starts, you will be at least holding, so you'll be on the field doing that, PATs
Yes.
and field goals.
Yep.
And as of right now, you're at the third spot for strong.
Third on strong safety, and as special teams, I'm definitely on field goal. But as far as like punt, I know I'm fighting for a spot on that right now, and just all the special teams, they don't really have set depth charts for anything except for field goal right now.
Okay.
So I'm basically just trying to get on as many special teams as I can right now.
Okay. A lot of it is made of what's the difference between college ball and high school ball. What did you find?
The biggest thing is it's a lot more mental. It's hard to describe. It's just in high school, I thought it was Manheim to start off is incredibly sophisticated for a high school program. At least that's the way I kind of see it. It's two different worlds. I mean, just the complexity of the coverages. Well, speaking from a quarterback aspect, just the number of recognizing coverages or calling maybe 2 or 3 plays at a time and then figuring out which one to run at the line, and just the reads. Everything is just 10 times more complex. And same from the defensive side. I mean, almost every single call, we never really call a single play. It's always at least 2 calls, and then depending on how they line up, then we go from there. So it's just mentally, it's a whole new aspect. And even physically, it's a lot faster, a lot more physical. Instead of your big kid being 250, your big kid's like 350 now. So it's just a completely different ballgame.
And the speed, like you said,
That
definitely.
was the hardest thing to adjust to, especially as I moved to the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Kids are obviously gifted, that's why they're there. So it's just a whole new.
You're playing on a big all-star team now
Exactly.
instead of playing against teams with a couple of all-stars.
Exactly.
You're playing against all-stars every week. You played DB here a little bit, if I recall, because Nos was playing some quarterback that sophomore, junior year. You don't mind sticking people?
Oh,
do you?
no,
is that fun?
Yeah, obviously. It's part of that's what strong safeties do, really. I
Sure.
mean, the free safety is more the smaller guy, the guy that's better in coverage. He usually drops
He's
back
the
a lot.
top
But
guy,
the strong safety, at least in our defense, is almost like another linebacker. He stays back, but in most of the plays, he's expected to make tackles on the line of scrimmage for a lot of stuff. So.
Okay.
Like I said, that's new. It's been about 3 years since I hit somebody like
Sure.
that, but it's all about getting used to it and just getting back into it.
How much of an advantage having played quarterback and now doing a 180 and looking at the other end? Has that helped you?
It is a
bit?
lot
Do you feel
as
ahead
far
of the curve?
as visually, just like kind of coming and seeing what's coming at you. But really, it's completely different. Like I get a lot of people ask me that question, and it does help, but honestly, probably not as much as what people think. Just because just looking at it as a perspective, as like instead of being behind the ball, you're looking at them. It's just different. Like it's something you got to get a feel for, but it comes with time, really.
Okay, having played here and just tasted the success that you had and playing in a state final and all that, did that faze you one bit when you stepped out there? I'm sure there were some butterflies at first when the first time you were on the field, but has that all kind of faded away now? Are you fazed at all by what's around
Well,
you?
I mean, when we run out there and, instead of playing in front of 5,000 and playing now in front of 70,000, it still raises the hair on my neck, and I still get goosebumps every now and then. So it's still exciting. But the first time I'm probably playing a major role, I'll probably feel that a little bit more. Because last year as a redshirt, I kind of went in knowing I wasn't going to play. What Tyler, the starting quarterback last year, did burst his spleen. So, there was my chances increased a little bit. So for like a day or so, I got a little bit nervous. But, I kind of knew last year I wasn't really playing yet because of my red shirt. So I guess we'll kind of see as this next year comes up and I actually start getting on the field.
Okay. So you didn't dress at all last year? Game days? Did you
travel?
travel?
The first half of the season, I dressed for all home games. And then once Tyler's spleen burst, that put me at the third spot, so I traveled to the rest of the games after that.
Okay, and you had to be ready just in case.
Yep, so after that, I was in all the film stuff and practicing just like everyone else was and getting in on the offense a lot more.
Best player you went up against in the LL was who?
That's a hard question. Tyler Eby was one of them for sure. He played for Garden Spy, I believe, correct? Yeah, he was definitely one of them. But in this past year, Calico's Austin Hartman had a good. But I didn't really go against him. But it's hard. It's really hard to say one specific person. The LA League has a lot of great competition, and we have a lot of guys playing D1 right now. So I think that's kind of proof of that. So I think it's kind of hard to pick one. But there's just a lot of talent in the whole LA League.
Do you talk up PA football? How many PA kids are on Colorado right now? I'm guessing not many.
No, there's actually me, Tony Clemens.
Okay.
He actually think he played in the Big 33 a while ago.
Sounds familiar.
We have one other kid. His name's actually escaping my memory right now. But we have 3 kids, including myself. That's from Pennsylvania.
You guys talk up PA.
We do.
Do some shout outs to PA.
California. We kind of argue every now and then between top 5 high school football states, and I tend to put PA in there. But there's some disagreement on that. But overall, I think being at Manheim and playing in the LL League is definitely giving me an advantage just because of the competition and the sophistication of Manheim's high school program and the coaches I had and stuff like that.
Okay. Culture shock? I remember before you went out there, you told me, I visited a couple times, I'm familiar with the area. But, you live out there now. Is there culture shock, or are you used to it, you feel at home? Or
I'm used to that. I think I wasn't, I thought I knew what Division I football was about and the time commitment it took. I knew what I was going into, but at the same time I didn't. It really is a lot more time consuming than what I thought going in. So it's a lot more just everything. Everything it's more complicated, it's more time consuming, it's more work. But that's why we play football. People do that because they like the rush and they like playing in front of so many people, and just this football in general is just an exciting sport. So in the end, it makes it all worth it.
I remember everybody kept asking Graham all 4 years, 5 years, are you glad you did this? You could have gone to JMU full ride and played 4 years. And then he earned his spot, got his ride, and, was awesome. As of right now, after 1 year, are you glad you did this? I don't want to say you have regrets or anything, but you obviously sound happy that you're there.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I think every player that goes Division I or even Division II or III kind of has those moments where they wonder, is it worth it? Because it really is a ton of work, and you got your up days and your down days. There's a lot of days you question things, just because you are putting in that much work, and you're just kind of hoping it pays off. Especially being young, still being a freshman, or a redshirt freshman, sophomore, whatever. It's just everyone's kind of biding their time at that point. I think all freshmen, no matter where you're at, are kind of questioning themselves: was this the right place to go? And as long as you're happy and you're working hard, and you kind of figure that out as it develops. You just kind of, especially being in a big D1 school, you just kind of bide your time a little bit and kind of let it develop and take it day by day.
Majoring in? Did you pick a major yet?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually majoring in business, finance, also management and real estate. So
how's that going?
It's time consuming for sure. Because they make us go to school over the summer, so I'm really there for 4.5 years year round. So I got an opportunity to get a lot more degrees than your typical student because I'm in school so often. But I'm doing well. I got a 3.6 right now, so I'm doing good. It's just that's my life though: school, football, and sleep and homework.
Come home every once in a while, get back out there. Okay, last one. What is your goal football wise for this fall? Get on the field as much as possible. And
this fall, we still got Anthony Perkins, Ray Polk. They're 2 seniors that are probably going to be our starting safeties, and we got some talent behind them. But for this year coming up, I still see myself as in a backup role, and then just fighting for those special team spots. So I plan on, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully getting on the field this year, and kind of take that slowly and just do the best I can there, and then maybe next year, the year before, we'll start seeing hopefully on some actual defense and getting some time that way.